What's up, guys? I'm Jugador, also known as Jugador Tactico or the San Wukong from Weekend's video. And today, as the first video of my channel, I decided to do a Sololane tier list. It's based on patch 10.5, including bonus patch, which is pretty relevant. Without further ado, I think we can get started. First of all, we got Achilles. I think Achilles is pretty much a viable pick. He's pretty solid. He has pretty good stats with his 2 and passive. Normally in the laning phase you want to use the damage stance, and then later on you switch to the armor stance. Normally around 3 or 4 items, because the armor stance is much better stat wise. I think in teamfights it's a pretty solid pick. It's a pretty solid pick because of the execute. But in laning phase he can kinda struggle into some of the S tier gods. So overall, it's a good pick, but you gotta watch out with your lane. Normally you're going Sigil and Golden Blade, which is the best starter for him, I feel like. So I'm gonna give him an A tier. Definitely a nice go-to. Next, we could rate up Wash, but honestly I don't feel like it because I don't want to encourage you guys to play this god, so please don't do. Amaterasu, I'm gonna place her in B tier. Viable pick, definitely, but I don't feel like auto-attack warriors are such the big thing right now. Mostly because their items are kinda dog shit, not gonna lie. But she has some interesting effects for her teammates, such as the auras, the passive, etc. And her damage output is actually pretty decent. So yeah, she's pretty playable, but worse than Achilles in my opinion. Next up, there's Aquan. I'm not gonna rate him, thank you. Artio. See, at the beginning of this season, when they added the tablet and they allowed Guardians to get Glad Shield, I thought Artio was gonna be an absolute monster, but she hasn't seen any play this year. Especially in patch 10.3, I think, when the tablet was so big, I thought Artio was gonna be played a lot, but nobody did. I don't think she's terrible necessarily. Like she's kind of viable as a counter pick, but you kinda lack the pressure in lane that you used to have in past metas, and the items for solo guardians aren't that good either. So I think she stays on a D tier. I mean, she could be some kind of decent against picks like Tyr, for example, which is pretty good right now, and she kinda fucks him up. But overall, I don't see much point on picking her, not gonna lie. Next up, I can rate Athena, I guess. She's not a ranked pick at all. She's for competitive. By the way, this tier list is both for ranked and competitive, but some picks may vary, depending on the level of play we are talking about. Athena, I don't think she's a ranked god at all. She's mostly for competitive, and you simply want to rotate with your ult as soon as you can, and go around the map trying to force beats in late game, that's all. Because your laning phase isn't pretty good, not gonna lie. So I think she just stays in a C tier. She's kind of a niche pick, not gonna lie. Bakasura. Again, depending if we are talking about ranked or about competitive. If it's ranked, I think this deserves an S tier. If it's competitive, I think it would be around high B tier or low A tier. Yeah, around this place, yeah. The thing with Baka is that he has a stupid amount of damage as soon as he gets his Golden Blade online, which you're going for first item, of course. And now with Phalanx, which got buffed and is not being used at all, I don't know exactly why. It's pretty busted. You can go Blizzard Baka with Berserkers, Phalanx, and Herwar Cliff. With Deathstall and that kind of build, and be pretty tanky while you're actually destroying people with your auros. For competitive, I don't think he's too good of a solo laner because he lacks the CC. But then for ranked, this is an actual beast. Like, if you wanna hyper carry a game as a solo laner in ranked, this is a I think it's the best god to carry from Sololane, maybe? Could be, yeah. Bellona. She's kind of the same case as Ama, because the build is pretty similar. Her items are not too good, but I think she's worse than Amaterasu because she doesn't bring anything special to the board like Amadas, with her auras, passive, etc. So yeah, not pretty relevant. She has pretty good laning phase, that's true, but I don't feel like Bellona is the pick right now. Next up we've got Cabrakan. It's been pretty long since I last saw a Cabrakan solo. Let's say like nah, not too much, maybe 2 or 3 months. The thing with Cabrakan is that Sololane Guardians don't have the best build path right now. He actually deals pretty good damage, mostly because you're probably gonna go full damage on him if you play him on solo. Maybe one defense item, but that's all. He has decent laning pressure because he can push the wave pretty fast with his 3. But just like Athena, I think he's sort of a niche pick right now. You could argue a C tier, but he's definitely worse than Bellona. Nah, I think he actually belongs in D tier. It's sort of the same level as Artio, maybe a bit. Yeah, I think it's better than Artio, but no point on picking Cabrakan at all. Next up, we got Camazotz. Camazotz is the typical god you go when you're actually not a laner and you got autofilled in ranked. And you say, oh, I'm solo, I don't know what to play, I'll go Kama because he's an assassin and I will hit hard. It's that simple. Is this god actually good right now? I think he kinda is, but not quite as much. He has a pretty good amount of damage because he's an assassin mostly, and normally you're gonna go full damage if you play him on solo. The thing is, most top tier warriors are gonna bully him early game, so you gotta watch out with that. But if you can survive the early game and get to mid late game with Camazotz full damage, you're basically gonna be a second jungler. You lack the CC because you're not a solo laner at all, but it's pretty decent to carry rank games. I wouldn't play this in comp like at all, but for ranked, I'd say it's I'm between low B tier and high C tier. The main issue with Kama is that you're gonna get bullied early game so badly by the strong early game warriors. So yeah, I think I let him in C tier, high C tier actually. Cerberus. Look, the thing with Cerberus, he's not being played as far as I have seen. The reason it's pretty simple. This character is actual dog shit. Like he doesn't do anything right. He has some sort of decent engage with his ult, which is kinda nice, but he's pretty predictable. His skills are pretty clunky, and since 9.5, he doesn't quite deal the damage he needs to be a threat to backlane, and his laning phase isn't too good either. So overall, I don't feel like there's any reason to pick Cerberus. There's no reason to pick him but once, which is his passive. This god is literally a passive bot. If you see 2 or 3 healers in the enemy team, you can maybe consider going Serb solo and just be annoying, stealing order healing. You can, I think, if you play Serb, you probably go Tainted, so you can steal even more healing. But overall, to deal with healers, I think there are much better picks, like Odin or that kind of stuff. So no point on picking Serb at all. I'm gonna put him in C tier because I think he's kinda better than Artio, and his passive, as I said, is pretty useful to counter those nasty healers which are being played a lot this season. But again, if there are no healers, please don't go Serb. He's an E tier in that case. But you know, to counter health, to counter Afro, kinda nice. Then we have Chaac. Chaac is he recently got a buff on his reign, I think. Yeah, it was in his reign. I think Chaac is kinda undervalued. He's not being played a lot. Maybe in some low elo ranks he's kinda played a little bit more, but in higher levels, no one's playing Chaac. And I don't think he's a bad pick at all. Like, his damage output is quite decent, mostly because you're going trans, sigil, and that kind. Actually, I think I'd go Chaac with a similar build that I went with Wukong in the weekend's video. His early game is quite good. His laning you don't especially suffer into anybody in your laning phase. The thing is, you kinda struggle to be an actual threat to the enemy backlane in the game. But overall, I think he's pretty decent. He has good sustain. I'm throwing him in B tier. Not a bad pick. What do we have next? Kleena, I don't think she's quite viable, right? I mean, kind of the same thing as Kama, I think. You're not a Sololaner. You get filled in solo. I'm going Kleena, but same thing as Kama. I'm gonna lie. Cthulhu, I think he's probably the best guardian solo right now. And he's not doing use at all, and I don't know exactly why. His laning phase is pretty good. He has good pressure, and later on the game, actually can kind of struggle a bit with the king size being OP in the ADC builds, because you're gonna ult and I'm gonna get melted, and also you don't deal that much damage with your explosive engage because the support towers. So okay, now I can see the point on people not playing him, but I don't think he's that bad. I could give him a low B tier, I'd say. Kinda undervalued, but he has some clear issues. Koholem. I played this guy a lot this season. At the start of the season, he was pretty busted. Probably the best solo laner, I'd say. But right now, I don't quite feel like he's that good. He kinda has the same issue as Cthulhu, because with Koholem, you always want to go in, like blink, ult, and win the team fight of that fight. And normally, right now, that's not happening, because the support auras are making ADCs and mages too tanky. So Koholem, it's in a kind of a weird spot. I don't think he's bad at all, but like his laning phase is pretty good at all. He has pretty good damage output, but the supports are making this kind of solo laner's life pretty harsh. I'm gonna throw him in B tier too. Danza Erlang. Do we even consider this a solo laner? Like, this is an actual F tier. Arguably the worst god in the game, I'd say. Like, he doesn't have the CC, kinda. Like he has the roots and a taunt in the ult, which isn't much CC for a solo laner, not gonna lie. And he literally just autos and he's gonna auto you and die at some point. Like, he doesn't do much, and the auto attack warriors aren't the big thing right now, as I said. So, actually, no point on playing Erlang. He does a pretty decent damage, but that's all. That's everything the character brings, and his laning phase is pretty bad. Like he can't clear the wave at all. What else do we have? Gilgamesh. I think, honestly, Gilgamesh is sort of viable in solo lane now. He has been buffed for several times at this point, and I think he is kinda playable. I don't know what I build with Gilgamesh. I'm not sure at all. I think maybe Sigil and Golden Blade is the play. Yeah, because your clear isn't that good. Like, I have kind of considered how would I play Gilgamesh solo, because I don't really have the idea. But I have played against some, and it's not as bad as I thought it was. So I'm gonna throw him in C tier. His damage is pretty decent, and his ultimate for teamfights is pretty nuts. You got Guan Yu. Okay, Guan Yu got a pretty big nerf in this bonus patch. Um, in 10.5 and past times, he could steal up to 60 procs when with his three when his passive was active. Now it's only 45 procs, which decreases the damage when you can deal in a pretty big amount. Still, I think it's a pretty solid pick because he has a lot of utility. His teamfight is pretty good. He has low cooldowns, healing, all the cooldown reduction in his 1 and 2. The ultimate, which is pretty good for summoning away backlaners. But the damage output, I think, not lacking. I don't think he does, but he doesn't deal enough damage. But it's not as abusive as it used to be. So I think I'm gonna throw him on A tier. Last patch, he was clearly an S tier, probably the best Sololaner. But right now he's still pretty good, but not that broken. We got Hades. Please don't play this god, but he's a solid A tier. You just win lane because you win lane. You don't have to do anything, just push the wave. You go full damage and you one-shot people late game. That's all. Don't play Hades. It's fucking brain the character. That shouldn't exist at all. Moving on to... I'm not gonna rate hell. Like, don't play this, please. Hercules. Hercules got some recent nerfs, and honestly, I don't think it matters at all. They nerfed his cooldown in the 1 and the 2, and they nerfed his healing. It's not enough. Hires, if you want to nerf Herc, you have to nerf his passive. It's not fair that he can hit me at level 2 for like 120 with the big auto. That's not fine at all. You kinda just win lane with Herc in the early game because you hit harder than anybody, pretty much. And late game, you kind of depend of being good with him, hitting your pulse and stuff. But the amount of damage this god can deal is actually ridiculous. I have tried him with king size last item, and god, it's fucking disgusting. Like, you can actually outbox an ABC. You press your 3, you walk towards him, start hitting your basics, and you kill him. It's stupid. And yeah, it's pretty good both in ranked and comps. So definitely S tier. Please nerf the passive. It's stupid. Horus. Horus has been seeing quite a decent amount of play lately. He got some good buffs on the 3, and I think he's overall a pretty good pick. His kit is solid. He just like his ability to go in and out, like with your 1-2 combo and then out with your 3 and force relics pretty easily with it, makes him a pretty strong comp pick, I think. And the ultimate is pretty nice for making team plays. So I think he's an A tier. His laning phase is pretty decent, not because he can clear the wave easily, but because he outboxes a lot of good laners. So yeah, definitely a solid pick. Combats, Jorm. I have a dilemma with Jorm. Like, I feel like Jorm is Chinese Hades, okay? You just go to lane and win it by doing nothing, literally. But I don't know to what extent you are good in the late game. You're probably going full tank or maybe 2 damage items, but that's all. And I don't actually know how good his damage numbers in the late game are, like how useful can he get to be. I'm not playing this god at all, and I will never probably. I'm gonna throw him in C tier because he just wins lane, but I don't know if he's actually useful in late game. I don't think he's that good. Like, a lot of warriors that just out teamfight him. He's pretty safe though, and has pretty busted stats for no reason. But whatever. I don't want you to play this guys, please. We have King Arthur. He hasn't seen much play this year. A little bit, but not quite. I don't think he's bad at all. Like, his damage output is pretty decent. The only downside of playing Arthur is that in late game it's kind of hard to get your big ults consistently, because it's hard sometimes to get your passive stacked. But your laning phase is pretty good. In mid game you literally destroy people. You have a pretty good damage. But you're kind of forced to go Bluestone, which is not the greatest starter right now. Like, Sigil is much better. You go Bluestone and full tank and hope not to get melted by the ADC too hard. I think it's a low B tier. Like, he's playable and all, but not too great. Decent. Kuzenbo not being played. Lance, I think he's kinda playable, but the same thing as Kama. Yeah, I think he's kinda the same as Kama. I'm not a Sololaner, get fit in this lane. But the difference between Kama and Lance is that with Lance you can actually go some defense and do fairly well, because his kit is more similar to a warrior than Kama. He has more CC. What else do we have here? Next up, we have Mulan. I don't get why people in lower MMR play this god. Like, she doesn't offer too much that other gods don't do the same, but better. Like, he does okay in lane, but they're better laners. She does okay in teamfight, engaging with her ult, but there are better engagers like Guan Yu or some of the Coca-Cola, for example. And her late game is not too good. Like, she deals damage, but there are better damage dealers. I feel like she's in an awkward spot. And the lack of mobility until you get your the passive of your 3 stack is kinda lacklustering. I'm gonna throw her in not D tier because I don't think she's that terrible. Like, she's definitely better than Cabrakan and Artio, but I think it's a low C tier. If you want to get good at this game, like, don't play this god, honestly. I'm not ranking Nesha, I won't. Look, I have a theory. I haven't tried this, okay? But I genuinely think Nemesis solo is secretly busted as fuck. Like, same thing as Baka. Just think about this. You can go Berserker, Phalanx, the Magical Defense Glyph, and then you can go Viral Amplifier, because you heal when you get hit in your shield. You go Death Tolls, maybe actually King Size, and of course first item you go Golden Blade for the wave clear. This god can be actually so busted in that situation. I will try her at some point, but for now I'm gonna throw her in A tier. I actually think this god might be pretty good. Obviously, same issue as some of the other assassins that are played in solo. She lacks the CC, but for ranked and lower level comps, this can be stupid good. Nike. I think a lot of people that will watch this are gonna be from Weekend's video, which means they are probably gonna be from NA. And I have a question for you. What the fuck happens in NA that everybody plays this god? Like, in Europe you won't see one of these in like years. Okay, maybe Archbaker playing jungle, okay, but he's the only one who plays this god. I don't think she brings anything special to the board. Like, her laning phase is pretty good because she clears the way pretty easily with her 1 and her AoE Aurus, but her damage is just not enough. Really not enough. Maybe you can try going a similar build than I went with Wukong in the Weekend's video, but you don't have anything that can boost your stats significantly like Wukong's passive. So I don't see the value on playing Nike at all. Like, Herald was pretty decent until they introduced erosion in the game, which pretty much fucked her up. Her CC is decent, okay, I can give you that. But her 1 is too clunky to play in teamfights, I don't know. I just don't feel this good. I don't feel there's any reason to play her in solo. Throwing her in D tier, I think she's worse than Mulan, definitely. And also in lane you can get your 1 interrupted pretty easily by some gods. So it's kinda whatever. Odin. He has seen quite a bit of play right now. Mostly because the healing meta. And I think this god is actually quite good. Problem is, his early game is actual dogshit. Like, among all warriors, I think it's the worst early game. You don't play the game until you have at least 1 item. But then later on in the game, you are kinda hard to kill. You are pretty annoying with the slow in your 3 and your CC. You have your shields in a pretty low cooldown, and your cage is pretty annoying to deal with sometimes. So I think he's pretty much a decent pick, especially as a counter pick against healing comps. But I don't think you can play this god in ranked because his damage is kinda lacklustering. He's not that good in that area. So I think I'm gonna throw him in low A tier. Yeah, I think it's fair. I feel it's better than Ama, yeah. Low A tier is good for him. Osiris. Bro, what has happened to this god? Like, he was OP when the mitigation build was a thing, but now nobody plays this god at all. And there's a reason. The aura attack items aren't good. His CC isn't enough. His kit is kinda old and doesn't bring anything special. Like, how? Why would you play Osiris? Like, give me a single reason. There is not. I threw him in E tier. Like, his laning phase is decent into some gods. But you also have some terrible matchups like Wukong or Searcher, I don't know. Or Tyr is also pretty good into Sabis. I don't know. I think he's in a terrible spot. He needs some buffs. Is he worse than Cabrakan and Artio? Yeah, I think so. Because Artio, for example, has better CC than Osiris. Yeah. Maybe I could move him to low D tier, but I'm gonna leave him in E for now. Yeah. Now we have ratatoskr. He's seen a bit of play in ranked, not too much. I think I have seen like 2 or 3 this last month, and I think he's kinda undervalued, man. Rat is pretty decent. The protection steal on his 2 is kinda it's kinda undervalued, man. You probably go the Sigil Trans build. Yeah, Sigil Trans Solator, same as Wukong. Well, actually, you have to build the Acorn, so I'm not sure what you're actually building with Rat. But I think his damage output is pretty good. He has a lot of value with his rotations. His CC is decent with no capping his ult and the stun. Kinda the same thing as Lance. You can go defense with him, which is decent for a Sololaner. But I think he's better than Lance simply because the fact that you can rotate easier with your ult. So I'm gonna throw him in B tier. Low B tier, I'd say. Probably, yeah, same level as Arthur actually, probably. Ravan is another pretty undervalued god. I think he's even better than Rat. His laning phase is pretty good because of his passive. The shields make him pretty hard to kill and give him a pretty good boxing potential. His damage late game, if you go a Breacher build, is decent not quite enough for us. Like, it's decent if he was a warrior, but for being an assassin, it's not quite there. But he's pretty safe because the immune on his 2. He has healing, which is pretty good for laning phase. He has a kind of decent CC with a root and a slow. So I'm gonna throw him in B tier too. Yeah, playable. That'll. Nobody plays set solo. Shiva. Shiva is my second god with more worshippers. I think I have like 11 or 12 stars on him. And it's actually dog shit. Like, this god used to be good last season, but the changes from season 9 to season 10 weren't any good on him. His laning phase is okay, his early damage is also okay, but bro, the main issue with this god is that, first of all, any character with knock-up immune is literally immune to you, like you are not existent for him. And second is that his ultimate is actual dog shit. Like, it takes 6 seconds to fully cast, and in some situations you're like, it doesn't deal the damage it should, and it doesn't bring any utility. Like, you know, I think if you give him, like, in the blue tick of the ult, you give him movement speed. Imagine the healing tick, the small one, you give it movement speed. The big heal tick, you give it a CC immune. Then the red ticks, you give the little one a slow, and the big one a 1 second root. Just imagine how good the character would be. Like, right now there's no point on popping off your ult. Like, you're not using that skill at all. It's literally a cooldown waiting room. And you have to go damage for sure with this god, because if you go full tank, you're literally useless. You're dealing 100 damage per skill to people, and they are just laughing at your face. This year, because I think it's better than these two. Probably I think it's worse than Nike. Yeah, same level. This god needs some actual changes. I'm not ranking Sobek, and here he is, Wukong. You guys know I have played a lot and lots of Wukong. I have 44 stars, no 44? No, actually 46 stars on him. And I think I can say I have fully mastered this god. Like, I can say that I know everything about him. And in the current meta with the build that I went on the weekend's video, I think I can say Wukong is an S tier. I think I can say so. Maybe my vision is kind of distortion because of the fact I'm the best Wukong. But I feel like it's pretty stupid in the way that, bro, you are literally one-shotting carries having 300 plots. That's not okay at all. That's not okay in any case. On top of that, probably in next patch 10.6, they are probably gonna nerf support auras, which will increase Wukong's damage by a lot. So I think this god is actually busted if you play him properly. Probably in my next video might be a full guide on Wukong, showing out all my knowledge on him. So yeah, we'll be seeing this guy soon. Sylvanas, Thanatos, Tsukuyomi. I'm kind of enjoy of Tsukuyomi solo, but I don't think he's too great right now. Like, he's sort of same playstyle as Wukong, but worse in every single department. Tyr, high res. Why on earth do you give this character a stun on his ult? No, but nobody's playing him, bro. Shut the fuck up. He was already good. Like, before the buff, he was already an A tier, like easy A tier. His laning phase is stupid. He wins most of his lane without doing anything. He's super safe. And in teamfights, if you're good with him, like, you can go watch some Julio streams with Tyr. It's actually busted, but for some reason he now can stun you with his ult. So I think he's an S tier, but I don't get the reason why they actually buff this god when Shiva, for example, Shiva or Osiris or Erlang are this bad. Like, actually no point on this decision. But yeah, actually stupid pick. You outtrade everybody in lane, mostly because you can walk to them, full combo them and walk away, simply without them hitting you, because they are CC'd for the whole duration of your combo. And then you have pretty good sustain with your 2 in lane. So if you're good on Tyr, you should be playing it every single game. It's actually my permaban for ranked, mostly because his matchup into Wukong is pretty hard for Wukong. So yeah, pretty good pick. Vamana. Vamana used to be the best god in the game, like 2 weeks ago. Now that he got the big nerfs, both in, like, he got nerfed twice. He got the cooldown his one increased by 1 second. He got the stats on his ult decreased, and also in the bonus patch, I think it was, yeah, in the bonus patch, it got, like, he lost attack speed from the passive, power from the passive, and I think defense from the ult, if I'm not wrong. Basically, he got his stats nerfed. So now the thing with Vamana is you can, like, if there's actually some sort of team play in the game, late game, you can actually turn on this guy and actually kill him as a team. Like, if the support looks at him as soon as he ults, and the ADC left clicks on him, and the mage gets some skill on him or whatever, I think you can blow him up, because I think you can blow him up after he kills your entire team, as he did like one month ago. Still, he's a pretty good pick. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still pretty viable. But I think he's a high A tier, like the highest you can be in A tier, honestly. Even in the scenario I just said, maybe he's dying, but he's getting somebody to the tomb with him. Like, depends on the actual DPS that your team can apply on him. But he's now killable. He's now killable in ult, so no longer stupidly broken. Xintian. I'm quite of a Xintian enjoyer, but I don't think he's that good right now. Well, actually, I think he's Cthulhu level, not gonna lie. His laning phase is pretty okay. His damage output is quite surprising, even if you're only going like 2 damage items. He hits pretty hard. It's so easy to force relics on him, and he's pretty good into ADCs, which is pretty nuts for a solo laner. So overall, I think I can give him a solid B tier. It's not bad at all. Ymir... Surtur. I like this guy a lot, man. The thing with Surtur is that I feel his kit is overall pretty good. The character is super solid, even slightly OP. But he gets, like, his matchup into all the top tier characters. The top tier characters is pretty bad. Like, into Herc, you get fucked up. Into Tyr, you get fucked up. Into Wukong, depends on the starter you go. If you go Bluestone, he goes Sigil. Okay, you win the lane until the Wukong has 2 items. Into Guan, you get fucked up. Into Horus, you kinda get fucked up. Into Hades, you also get fucked up. Like, there's a lot of bad laning matchups for you. He has a lot of bad laning matchups in a character which is designed for having a strong laning phase, which kinda makes him not as strong as his kit is per se. Still, I think he's a viable pick. I play him a lot, both in ranked and scrims. So I'm gonna give him an A tier actually. Yeah, because in teamfight you can actually pop off pretty hard. His damage output is pretty decent, not as high as Wukong's, but pretty good. And overall he's a menace in teamfight. It's pretty easy to force beats with your stun and your slow. You force mobility pretty easily with your 3. And yeah, that's all about him. And I think we are done. Yep, I think I'm not leaving any Sololaners here. Yep. So this was the tier list. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like and see you soon.